Hello everyone and welcome to the 2023 Masters World's Disc Golf Championships. Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined alongside Dave Greenwell. And boy, oh boy, do we have a special treat for you guys. We've got Randy Beers along with Dave Greenwell. Mark Horn will be joining us and Dr. Rick Voakes. We're in the middle of the third round. We've caught up with them at Fort Tuthill. Third round at the Worlds. Dave, truly an honor for you to join me here doing post-production commentary. Your first ever.
Yeah, thanks a bunch, Terry. It's been a while since we did some of this stuff together with Disc Golf Planet, and this is fun for me.
Yeah, well, it looks like you're having some fun out here. Through 9 holes, you're 3 under, and you're trying to chase down Randy Beers, who's 2 under, so you remain 3 back of him overall, and here we are on 10, 246 feet. Is this a birdie you should be picking up?
You know, this is one that you should get. There's a couple different routes here. There's a hyzer shot there off to the right, like Doc Rick is going. And actually, there's a straight shot right at it, too. It's just a matter of what you feel comfortable with. But it's one that you feel like you should get.
And now we're seeing Randy Beers, our leader. He's been off to a great start here at the World Championships. And that looks like a pretty good drive.
That was really good. Randy has much more power than I do these days. And Mark Horn?
Yeah, one thing we've learned very quickly is my buddy Tyler was out there with the camera. Mark Horn does not mess around. He gets up and throws.
He gets up there pretty quick.
So it looks like Dr. Rick's maybe circle's edge or so. Not much wind to speak of out there?
No, it was really pleasant. And oh, wow. Just a little bit short on that one. But, yeah, it's great conditions. A little bit dusty, but that's the way things are out there.
And now this is the third round, so ultimately your second round at this course, right? Are you seeking any revenge?
Absolutely. Every time I play, it seems like I am. I got to make one here. Oh, wow.
Nice putt.
All right.
Feeling good as you've picked up a couple birdies here in the middle so far as we're catching up on this back 9. Mark's going to have about the same distance.
Mark's been pretty solid. Gave it a chance, you know. I mean, if you don't get it in, at least you gave it a chance, and he did it right there.
Yeah, you can never make it if you're coming up short, right?
But that is so true. And Randy filleted that drive and is parked.
Randy, not as, that's on the right side, but it gets it to drop in. Not quite as, well, I'll say as old of a player in terms of his longevity within the PDGA as some of you guys. I mean, this is, how many worlds for you? Are you in your 41st, 42nd World Championships?
However many there's been, I've been to all of them.
Okay, exactly. I know we had a year of COVID in there. Dr. Rick, I talked to him. I think he's missed all, or he's been to all but 3 World Championships or so. So he's been to quite a few. Here we are, hole 11, 475, a par 4. What's kind of the game plan on this hole?
You know what? You just got to get it middle left. That one's just a little more right. That's not bad, though.
Couple of big skips?
Yeah, you know, I mean, there's a lot of trees out there, and it just depends on where you end up finishing on the skips because there's a bunch of rocks.
That's going to do it, too.
And that one's going to finish off to the left.
Randy with some big air right there.
Talk about the stability in playing out here and maybe anything that you did to change up your disc selection for the week, if anything.
Doc Rick off the tee. He's going to finish about the same place. You want to be a little bit left here. And yeah, almost all the discs finish left.
Yeah.
No matter what. It seems like even if you're trying to throw a roller, it seems like they finish left.
So hard
But I am throwing lighter plastic, which it was helpful coming into this.
And this sets up really nice here for Mark.
That was really good shot. Yeah. If you get very far left, it's pretty tricky because you got to throw a hyzer shot in between a bunch of trees, and you got downhill below the basket. So you got to kind of skip it up around the corner with a severe angle. That was well done.
Yeah, light work here for Dr. Rick. And you guys are playing, what time are you guys starting your round roughly?
8:30.
8:30, okay.
Yeah.
So kind of fortunate to be beating a little bit of this midday heat that comes later, huh?
That is so true. I've been appreciative of that. It was a good shot there by Randy. Just a soft little hyzer shot.
Yeah, not much. You can't really get too aggressive there.
No.
Just trying to pitch it up there and walk away with an easy birdie.
Doc Rick, as usual, solid self. Yeah, he and I chased each other around in 2003 on at the same venue, different courses, but it was in Flagstaff.
Yeah, here in Flagstaff. And did you go on to win that one?
I did.
I feel like it's at least a 50-50 guess if I ask which year, which world championships, if you took one down or not. So how many world titles do you have, so all the viewers at home know?
I've got 10 singles titles.
10 singles titles. And Dr. Rick has probably...
He's got 11.
Oh, really?
He's got one in the 70s. I don't have one in the 70s.
Okay,
So.
okay. Well, we'll see how things go the rest of this week here. Now we're on to hole
true.
number 12.
Yeah, this one you got to stay just a little bit right again. That was better than I did the first time that I played it, because if you get too far left, then you got a jail that you have to go through, and it's kind of iffy.
Now, you just mentioned that Randy Beers has some pretty good distance. Where do you think he tops out at on a good day?
You know, Randy can throw between 350 and 400 most of the time. He's always been a really good distance thrower. Doc Rick on the tee. That's a good shot, but that's a little more left than you want to be.
Yeah, and as we're seeing kind of that cross, those logs that are across, is that like a great reference point as Mark goes right by him?
Pretty much. I mean,
Okay.
you want to stay to the middle right of that.
Oh,
And then you got to just beat that
I thought I
that
was
little
live.
jail there.
Hole 11 played as the easiest hole relative to par. In fact, it played at 3.27. Hole number 12 plays as the second easiest. So these are really two back-to-back par fours you feel like you got to take advantage of, right?
Well, I really wanted to this time because I got a 4 on it the first time.
Okay.
That's the tree you got to beat. That was just a little bit long, but it was better than I did the first time. I caught that right tree that I just missed, and that leaves you with about a 35-footer. Randy left a little short, but it's definitely gettable.
Yeah, looks like not quite enough on the turnover there. There were 0 competitors in the field that bogeyed this, so par or
Okay.
better has to be done out here on 12.
Right.
And Dr. Rick should be right up there for the par. That'll be a drop-in, maybe a disappointing par, but he should secure that. And Randy's just short.
Yeah, that's no gimme. I mean, there's so many different things that can change when your disc hits the ground because there's so many rocks, and if you happen to hit one on the side, it rolls pretty good.
And you're looking to chip away another one in a moment, but first we have Mark.
Well done.
Nice shot.
Yeah, I had a tough start early on and bogeyed one of the holes that I birdied the first time, and everybody else in the group birdied it. So I was kind of
Dug yourself a little hole.
licking my wounds a little bit, and finally got a few birdies later on in the front 9 and had a couple to start the back. But
And as you're setting up here, were you pacing off, or you were just walking to it, or were you kind of making note of the paces?
you know what? I think I always make note of it, but I was definitely just walking right
Okay.
there because it was about a 22 or 3 footer, I think.
All right, for a chance to pick up another stroke on the leader to get within 2.
Shoo.
Oh, as they say, no pictures on the scorecard,
That
right?
is, you know what? I like that. I like that saying.
That is in, and you're going to pull within 2 of Randy. Are you at all worried or conscious of the scoring relative to some of your other players at this point in the tournament?
You know, whether you want to be or not, you pretty much are. And I'm definitely not focusing on that, because once you start focusing on that, then you lose focus on what you're doing at the time.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's always kind of in your mind whether you want it to be or not.
So far, so good. I think every tee shot we've seen you with the honors. Here you are on 13. Another par 4, just a little over 400 feet.
Now, this one's got a Mando on the right side, so you have to stay left on this one. And then it's also got an out-of-bounds string far left on this hole. That's a beautiful shot.
Once you hit that.
Oh, a beautiful shot at it.
It apparently happens in every division, huh?
Yeah.
Look at the wind. Wind just pushing it left.
And are you looking to push it left center fairway like that,
You have
or
to-
would he have rather been a little straighter?
You have to push it a little bit left there, because there's a lot more trees on the right edge of that. And that is the way. That was a really good shot.
Yeah, keeping it clean out there. Big, beautiful turnover.
Yeah, this was a tough lie.
I was thinking, are you stressed out over this shot right now?
Definitely. That was so close. If I miss that tree, then I'm pretty close. But such is life in disc golf.
Hit it.
Yeah, and I think Mark's thinking the same. If I just
Right.
missed that tree.
See that tree.
That's exactly what we hear him say there.
Yeah, this was a pretty solid group. It was fun to play. I mean, everybody is still very competitive at age 70, but it's still a blast when you're playing with old friends.
Well, and we're going to put this in perspective here as we're watching, and I'm going to round up a few of the details for everybody at home. And we're looking at the competitiveness within this MP70 division and the experience in which you guys bring. After we see a pretty solid approach there. As I was saying, Randy Beers, PDGA number 15188. Compare that to you, PDGA 962, along with Dr. Rick, 2632, and Mark Horn, 67.
Yeah.
I mean, you could add up all of those PDGA numbers, and it's definitely going to be lower than most of our viewers out there, and then some.
Randy from about 25.
A little tentative?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of crazy with Randy. He talks himself out of a few.
Okay.
But he's a good player, very solid player. But every once in a while, he just kind of gets a little iffy.
Does he hear the footsteps? Does he know that, he's lost a couple strokes to you in the last few holes?
You know, everybody feels that. But, no, he's a competitor. He's really good. I mean, his rating is much higher than mine now, and he's been playing in a lot of events. And I haven't played in a competitive singles event since last year's Open Division Worlds. So I'm still trying to get the feel back again. I still know how to do some shots, but I'm definitely not as polished as I would have liked to have been, but, that's the way it goes.
We're going to head over to hole number 14 here in the middle of round 3 at the Worlds. You still have the honors.
Not bad. Not bad.
It's going to leave you short and right.
Yes. And Mark, again, he is fast. Kind of reminds me of Kevin Stewart, where the Kevin Stewart would be on your heels when you're trying to get off the tee, trying to throw.
Stays tree free, but it's going to be short on the left side. And now we see for the first time maybe a little bit of wind. Is this a more exposed part of the course, or is the wind just picking up a little bit?
It just generally comes up. I mean, it's never calm for very long. In the morning, it's calmer, but it doesn't seem to affect the flight of the disc that much. Maybe more putting, but it's a very different form of golf compared to in the Midwest, where the discs fly differently, and the wind seems heavier.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, we talked about the altitude and what that does, including the putting, right? That's where you can really feel as if you have to almost put more on it, as Randy just did there.
Right, that was a great putt. I mean, see, Randy does that often, but it's
Sure.
just he kind of talks himself out of some of those short ones, and he'll say it, and I actually try to talk him out of saying it, so because I mean we're good friends, and you always want to see good friends do good.
The left side.
On it.
So for the first time here in this coverage of this back nine, we're going to see that Randy's going to get a stroke on you.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I always kick myself a little bit when I miss those, but that's, again, the human factor.
Yeah, and we're looking like, I know we keep talking about you chasing down Randy, but also it's very tight and solid throughout. I mean, all of you guys are just a few strokes apart at this point still.
Exactly.
I mean, Mark's just 2 behind you, and Dr. Rick 2 behind him.
That was a little more right than he wanted to be there. This one, you got to play pretty much the middle.
Well, I was just thinking that must be the least stable disc in his bag to get it to continue to carry right like that.
Randy has some pretty flippy discs,
Sure.
and he throws hard enough that he can make them go over more so than most people in our division anyway. Yeah, that was an early release there from Mark. You don't want to be over there for sure. And Doc is headed for the garden spot. Really good shot. Yeah, this hole finishes right at the end down there. And you've got a wall of trees before you get there.
And this must be one of the longer ones coming in at 500 feet. I feel like this is one of the longer. You have hole 18, which is 610. Those are essentially the 2 longest holes on the course.
Right. Yeah, this one I need to swing it out to the left, have it hold the Anheuser. Just barely too high. Yeah, if I miss that, it's going to be parked, but it didn't.
Awkward standstill for Randy, not quite clean. He gets caught up. Huh?
He was really close to out of bounds there.
And a solid approach there, almost ringing it up.
Doc threw almost the exact same line I did, but he was just like 4 inches higher.
So still a long stab at it. We see some of it, a left to right tailwind coming maybe over your left shoulder.
Yeah, this is just a fluffy up.
Solid bid,
Yeah,
though.
still.
I mean, you gave it a chance, almost getting all the way to the basket there. Leave you with a little tap in.
That was really close for Mark as well. He's got a really good short game.
Long look for beers. Shaking his head in disbelief.
Nice putt. Yeah, I think we all do that a little bit more these days.
Yep.
Because our expectations are still a little bit higher than they should be. But, I mean, if you don't think it's going to go in, it generally doesn't.
Good point.
And there's worse things than par, right?
Yeah, exactly. And as we're seeing that Dr. Rick is in for birdie, and just like that, he's pulled that much closer to both of you and Randy and Mark, of course.
You can't ever give up on Dr. Rick.
No, certainly not. We head into 16, just 3 holes left to play during this round. 16 plays as the most difficult hole on the course relative relative to par, averaging 3.33. Let's see what you guys can do.
Yeah, this one is one that you gotta beat a first branch off of that first tree on the right, and it sticks way out, so you got to swing it out a little bit wider. That was a good shot by Randy.
Yeah, I feel like if you would have thrown the tee shot that he had on the previous one, that would have been perfect.
Exactly.
Did it need more height or less turn?
Both. just a little bit of both.
Okay.
But it's amazing how these shots, I mean, I'm approaching the tee on a lot of these like I'm going to throw a backhand roller.
Well, that's what I almost was just going to ask you. I know you have every tool and trick in the bag. Do you miss not being able to throw a roller because of the terrain and the stability out here?
Absolutely. I mean, you can't really throw rollers. You beat your disc up enough on these lava rocks when you throw them in the air.
Okay.
But, rollers are just a last resort.
That's funny you mentioned that, because that's exactly what I was thinking as you're lining up that shot. Like, would you love to throw a roller off that tee, maybe
yes.
at a different elevation or in a different state?
Absolutely. There's many of these holes I would have been throwing backhand rollers on, but instead, to get the amount of anhyzer you need to, you almost have to come across your body like that to keep it out on that left side. Otherwise, if you pull it right, then you're on the first couple of trees and looking at bogey most of the time.
This course starts out a little tougher. Holes 1, 2, and 3 are in the bottom in terms of overall ease. So they're very difficult to get the course started. Hole 5 is the second toughest, and this being the toughest. So it feels like maybe through the first 6 or so holes, you're kind of maintaining, and then you really want to try and birdie heavily on the back, or there's more opportunities?
You would like to, and for me it's been just kind of topsy-turvy. I've been playing good for 6 or 7 holes, and then I'll fall asleep for a few.
Sure.
But that was a good shot by Dr. Rick.
Dr. Rick coming in on 17 here, just 245 feet, plays on the easier side.
This is one you feel like you need to get. And Randy caught early tree and ended up not where he wanted to be. I stuck on the tee right there and threw a not so hot shot right there.
Was it a low release?
I was on the opposite side of the tree. My foot stuck because my legs just aren't as strong as they used to be, and I have a hard time really rotating like I used to. I mean, not completely, but that one I stuck on the tee and threw it on the opposite side of that tree that was in the middle. Randy with a nice try there.
Yeah, he was framed up. He had the look, but those trees had to be somewhere in his mind.
Sure.
You did it again.
Yeah, I was really lucky that I didn't hit one of those trees right off the tee in the middle and ended up with a makeable putt. But
well, circle's edge here, we see a little bit of wind blowing, maybe right to left. All right, what happened there?
I missed.
All right.
One of those things where I just didn't punch it at the end, I mean, I'm still kind of a little paranoid because of the tee shot.
Oh, sure.
And you can't erase those things all the time. You try, but I was still thinking about that and not really making the putt, and therefore I missed another one, and Doc got another one on me.
Yeah, likely thinking, hey, I shouldn't be this far away in the first place.
Exactly.
On this particular hole. 5th easiest on the course. No bogeys on it, but it played at 2.67, so very easy for the field throughout.
I'm really surprised that it wasn't lower than that. I mean, that's to me was the easiest hole on the course,
Sure.
and I just missed it. I mean, even in practice, I think I birdied it most of the time. But
well, we head into the 18th hole. We're now more than halfway through the World Championships. And Dr. Rick here.
That was a good shot.
Yeah, left side, 610 feet. Are you thinking 200-300-foot throws? Like, what's kind of your mentality here?
Pretty much. That's about what it is. Randy's probably thinking more like 350 or 370.
Yeah.
But, that one he hit a little tree on the right edge.
Again, had some good distance on it.
That one was right where it's supposed to be.
That looked beautiful. Yeah, right out of your hand.
You know, it's curious on this hole. What's marked here? I'm not sure what happened, but there's 3 kind of like marble pits where there's a bunch of really small, dark rocks that is almost like sand. But it's pretty good size, and it's hard to get any footing. I'm not sure what happened or why it's there, but it definitely comes into play if you get in it.
Randy throws that one right into the ground. He's looking down, maybe some of the footing you were just talking about, and this is the darker section you're talking about, huh?
I'm standing right in the middle of it.
So does it kind of act as almost like a sand? Like
yeah.
We hear it, we hear the rustling.
Yeah, that went about 40 feet to the right of where I was trying to throw it. My foot just slipped. I'm lucky I didn't fall on my butt.
Yeah, we hear the frustration from you, understandably, and Dr. Rick is just right on the edge of it as well, but it looks like he compensates pretty well for it.
Yeah, he was just on the edge. I was right in dead center, and, I mean, that was probably the best drive I threw all day.
Now you're in par save mode on the par 4, trying to close it out.
That one's not bad. I probably got a 25-footer or something. Randy in the middle should have no trouble getting close.
And how many world titles does Randy have? Do you know off the top of your head? Not to put you on the spot, but it's a handful?
The only thing Randy's got that's a world title is he and I played doubles last year.
Ah, okay.
I know a lot of people aren't counting those as world titles anymore, but,
they're on the resume. That's
right.
what matters.
Yeah. And we were going to play again this year, but it was on a course that we didn't play in singles.
Oh, sure.
So we didn't want to waste our energy because, we're getting ready for this event.
Yeah, as Dr. Rick closes out with a birdie, he gets 3 out of the last 4, and he finishes with a 6 under on the round. Here's Randy. This is to save his par, and just squeaks it in. That's going to be a 5 under effort. You're currently at 6 under, trying to close out. So, decent round, but unfortunately you didn't make up too much ground here on Randy, which is the goal.
I did not, and I thought I was going to. I had a good middle, and I just lost momentum, and Doc Rick picked his up, and he had a really nice finish.
And Mark's going to fall a little bit back as you put in for the par. Mark doesn't keep up with you guys. He's looking at his 3 under. But I think we're going to still see pretty much this group moving into round number 4, or a slight variation of this group. But, Dave, I got to say, what an honor to have you here doing post-production commentary. Is this the first time you've commentated on your own golf?
You know what, it is. And I really appreciate the chance to get in here with you and do this. I mean, we had a blast doing it years ago, and I've been really appreciative of what you and the rest of the guys are doing now.
All right, man. I love you. I appreciate it. That everyone is Dave Greenwell, PDGA number 962. He's in the hunt. That is 3 rounds of the World Championships. We wish you the best of luck as the rest of the worlds continue.
Thanks, Terry.